this game. Oh man, this game is fucking awesome. Pretty sure I overlapped that. Wow. Double damn. Fuck you, man. Oh, man. I mean, that front end was shit, but... That's what I like to see. Just get the misses squeezes out of the way early. What a stupid minus 200. I fucking hate this game. Whoa. What? little, but not much. Finish this with these shitty ticks. Man, that really sucks. Those ticks are trash. I probably dropped... The video should be short enough I can rewatch it. I don't know. I mean, the ticks are definitely bad, and I really would have liked 319.4, but I've been at this for long enough. I've dealt with enough headaches with it that it's all squeezes. I can come back to this for ticks if I want to. It's really not that big of a deal. I'm genuinely surprised just how consistent I've gotten with this. It just did not seem like something that was ever gonna come together in that regard. The song is pretty similar to Detonation, where, I mean, coincidentally enough, it's solo 1B, but yeah, you have this very difficult solo that you have an obnoxious act over that has to end at the very precise point at the end of it. Although this solo act is definitely way more straightforward in that regard. Like, basically, you know, if you shoot for a really good whammy and a decent front end, it seems to work itself out. But there are obviously times, like I'm sure I've shown in the pre-roll, where you can go a little overboard, and trying to manage that, like, it's all a balancing act in the moment. You just have to make a decision based on your phrase 1 whammy. You know, ideally you want phrase 1 to be perfect so that you don't have to... I mean, I'm not sure that you have to sacrifice ticks on phrase 2, but you generally want to be safe. Because obviously the 200 to 400 you might miss on the solo act back end is worth more than those few chord ticks. Certainly a bummer that the hardest act in the song is at the very end. That is, if you're not counting the bigger squeeze post-solo act, which is just dumb because you literally can't get early whammy off of the post-solo phrase. And in fact, like Trogdor, you'll get late whammy, especially if you want any semblance of consistency at the end of that solo. I mean, regardless, I'm pretty sure it forces you to get late whammy by a couple frames, but yeah, if you want that consistency at the end, you have to sacrifice quite a bit. I'm not sure how many ticks I was getting off that post-solo act, but that's the other thing, is it's like, the tempo is so high in the song, and ticks are obviously super volatile on acts 1 and 2 anyway, that you can get some really decent ticks off of the chord act anyway, so that 200 isn't even all that appealing. And I'm pretty sure if you could even just get on-time whammy, you could get the following yellow in, like the Madhouse last act, nearly ideal kind of situation. because you can abuse that chord front end really hard, as I tried to do, but I kind of backed off from it because I kept overlapping it, and doing that after the solo is not a fun experience, especially when you don't realize it until the end of the song after hitting the last act. So yeah, first two acts. That first act overall is just incredibly irritating, but it's specifically the front end that sucks so much. As you can see, I'm doing some pretty awkward extended hit window shenanigans because ticks are just very volatile in the song, so I just wanted to shoot for what I could, even with how much of a headache it was. The whammy is pretty annoying on both phrases. The first one is obviously executionally harder, but the second phrase is just annoying because you have to balance the chord ticks before the whammy sustain. And that's usually worth cutting that chord off like a couple frames early because, obviously you're shooting for chord ticks on the back end. And that applies obviously all the more to the first phrase. Whammy is just much more important than preserving ticks. The second act, the whammy for the second phrase is even worse. It's just a little more hectic, but the front end is way better of an execution. But I never really figured out that second phrase whammy. It just seemed pretty random whether I was able to. I'm pretty sure what would happen is because those sustains are so short and I'm just spamming the whammy bar through that section, there were probably times where I just straight up missed whamming on one of those sustains, and then because of that, it just cut off the whammy going into the next sustain. Because that's the important thing, is to obviously hit the notes as early as you can, but to keep that continuous whammy going so that you get whammy going into the next sustain. And that's also the only way to get first frame whammy without doing that intentional buffered whammy mechanic. So anyway, all that being said, I was down like almost 100 after Act 1 from my best. I don't remember what my ticks were after Act 2. I want to say I was down like 80 to 100. My best is somewhere around like 460 on the break before that trill. And I think I had either in the like 360 or like 380, 370 something. Either way, weren't great. Definitely cost me 0.4 just from Act 1 specifically. I made up a few on Act 2, but just wasn't there. But the other thing about the tick grind in the first half of the song is that having good ticks makes the solo harder to hit because you have nerves going. So, it's kind of just hard to balance that when you have to be so precise on the solo. And watching the video back, it doesn't look like I dropped many, if any, on the last act back end, which I definitely thought I did. But I'll have to review that with the path. And my post-solo act wasn't great, so yeah, overall sacrificed quite a bit of ticks, but I'm really not too torn up about it. I close this out with all the squeezes. Like I said, I can come back to this for 319.4, but yeah, I'm just glad to get this out of the way. Man, only 140 better.